What is going on, guys? I am BlackOpsAmazing. Welcome back to another video where today we are taking a look at the top 10 worst wonder weapons you can use in COD Zombies. As always, these are all in my opinion. These are based off my playstyle, how I play the game, so some of them may be better for you than they are to me. And obviously, at the end of the day, these are still wonder weapons, so by no means am I saying they are bad. These are some of the best weapons in the game, but if I had to pick the top 10 most useless, that's probably a better title for this video. This is pretty much me saying these are the 10 wonder weapons I wouldn't use out of the 20 plus that are in the game. However, they're still very good besides from 1 or 2. Also, these are just Treyarch zombies. I'm not including sledgehammers or infinity wards, just because I'm not as familiar with them. Anyway, so getting straight into this, in at number 10, from best to worst, I have had to pick, well, let's just call it the BO4 Wunderwaffe. I can never pronounce the actual name for it, but it's pretty much the same as the original Wunderwaffe that we first saw back in World at War, Shino Numa. That was the map that it debuted on. However, this version, its main difference is it has a scope. It's also got a bigger magazine size, a higher ammo capacity, and a slightly lower range, but in my opinion, this is better than the original, mainly due to that ammo capacity. That was the big downfall with the original Wunderwaffe, since it can only kill a specific amount of zombies at a time. With low ammo, you're always reloading, you have to spam your shots, whereas this one, you can be a little bit more careful, you don't have to worry as much. It is an improvement. The sniper scope doesn't really make too much of a difference. In fact, it might well suit the map that it's on, Tundra Gun, just because it's such a big map. The sniper scope's good if you want to use it from the lighthouse, and then up close you can just do hip fire. The one thing over this that the original version does have is the zombies could have been a lot further away from each other for the chain reaction to spread. But overall, this is better than the Wunderwaffe DG2. Still though, with that, it's not amazing. That's probably part of the reason why we saw 2 wonder weapons on tag. We had this and the Tundra Gun, simply because on its own, this Wunderwaffe isn't brilliant, but it's also far from the worst. So anyway, moving on down into number 9, I have picked the Ray Gun Mark II. Now yes, the Ray Guns, the Mark 1, Mark II, Mark III, these are wonder weapons. They are just very simple versions. Some people don't class them because, well, I don't really know the reason. I guess we've gotten so used to them because they're not specific to one map, but the Ray Guns are a lot better than actual proper wonder weapons that we have in the game, so we can class them, and the Ray Gun Mark II is a funny one. Obviously, they're very powerful. For me, the Mark II is an improvement of the Mark I, but not quite as good as the Mark III. We also saw elemental versions of the Mark II in Alpha Omega, but just going off the normal version, my main problem with this, and I guess any ray gun, is it just doesn't kill groups of zombies, especially the Mark II. It's great for killing zombies straight ahead of you, and if zombies would just all stand in a line coming towards you, this would be the perfect wonder weapon. But when they're all spread out, because of its pretty slow rate of fire, even though it's a 3 burst, for taking out multiple zombies who are side by side, you can find yourself getting very easily overrun. The best strategy to use this is just, like I said, have them in front of you, stand in a doorway or a long hall. Unlike the Mark I, it can go through multiple zombies, but this is COD, the zombies can come from everywhere, so you 100% need another weapon to complement this. Unlike other weapons, I don't think you can 100% rely on just this. But I still enjoy it. It's a weapon that I always pick up from the box. I remember when it was first introduced into the game and buried, and then eventually got added into every map in BO2. It's still a very fun weapon to use. Moving on down into number 8, we have the KT4, which we saw in Zetsubo-no-Shima. Now, it's difficult to talk about this one all too much since I haven't used it as much as other wonder weapons. The main reason for that is the fact that you have to build it. That in itself just lets it down. Really, any wonder weapon that you have to build, it isn't fun for me. I want to get it straight from the box and just use it. But the KT4 was very annoying to acquire. Since Zetsubo-no-Shima was a pretty big map, it wasn't exactly easy or quick to collect all of the parts, unlike other wonder weapons that you have to build, like the Liquefier. So off the bat, it was just annoying, and I also don't think it was worth it if you're just going for a quick game. If you're going for high rounds or the Easter egg, then sure, but if you're going in there, like I do most of the time, just to get footage or have a little bit of fun with friends where you don't want to do chores or tasks, you're not going for the Easter egg. Sometimes I just won't even bother going for it, and in fact, just have the Skull of Nansapwa. I think that's a lot more fun to use. When this first came out, I initially thought it was a rip-off of the Liquefier. I still kind of do. I thought it was a little bit lazy just because it's very similar to that weapon and it's nowhere near as good. It is a semi-automatic. It has 2 to 3 round charges, a magazine of 6. It's good for taking out enemies such as the Thrasher, but there was always just something about it for me in which I thought I don't really fancy getting it. It was never a wonder weapon that I was all too excited about, that I wanted to go out of the way to get. But in at number 7, I have picked the Wunderwaffe, the original. We saw this in both World at War, Black Ops 1 in the remakes, and in BO4, it was in the Giant. Since it was all the same gun, I'm basing it off all 3 games. In World at War and BO1 it was pretty much the same, but in BO3, I might have just said BO4, but in BO3 the Giant, it was... I don't want to say it because it was such a nostalgic gun. It was one of the first wonder weapons. In fact, it was the first, along with the ray gun. But the BO3 version is very bad. The original version was good. Nostalgia always gets the best of you. It wasn't as good as a lot of people say. Like I mentioned earlier, with its sniper version, it only kills a limited amount of zombies, so you do have to spam it on those later rounds, although it does guarantee you it will kill the zombies on any round. There's no limit to its damage, but it can only kill, I believe it's like 10 to 15 at a time. On World at War, that was fine because there was a limit to the zombies, but on BO3 the Giant, it's not very good. I think if it was on any other map besides Derice, or if it was a wonder weapon that was seen later on in the game and it wasn't the first, it would definitely be seen in a different light. Imagine if this released towards the end of, I don't know, BO3, BO4, this was the first time we saw it. It'd be pretty underwhelming knowing that it's 100% not as powerful as other wonder weapons. Of course you want Treyarch to improve on what we've had previously, but you know what, for a start, for our first wonder weapon, it was good at the time and that's why it comes in at number 7. Okay, for number 6 I have picked the Scavenger from Call of the Dead. This is a sniper rifle wonder weapon, different to what we would usually have. It was definitely unique, but as you would imagine with that, being a sniper, it has a very slow rate of fire, you have to zoom down sight, and so to improve on this, it fired explosive bolts. It has a low magazine size of 3, a pretty slow reload time as well. When you pack a punch it, it becomes the hyena in Vre Dead, and so similar to the Wunderwaffe that we get on this map, both have sniper scopes because it's a big map. It suits Call of the Dead, or in the Wunderwaffe's case, Tag der Toten, but if it was on any other map, it'd be further down this list than it is. I believe this wonder weapon is actually supposed to be complemented with the VR11. That's another one that you can find on Call of the Dead. Don't worry, we'll talk about that one in a bit. But yeah, it's just pretty much a sniper that fires explosive bolts. Nothing really too complicated. It's simple. You can't take out too many zombies at a time. The thing that really lets it down is just its slow rate of fire. But at the end of the day, it's just a sniper. So yeah, nothing too interesting about that one. I don't think Treyarch ever went out of their way and thought this is going to be amazing. Hence why on Call of the Dead we saw 2 wonder weapons. Next, in at number 5, we have the OG, the original ray gun. Now, the ray gun is a weapon that we see on every zombies map. It is a staple in Call of Duty Zombies, without a doubt the most popular gun in the game. I say this a lot, but I mean it. If you ask anyone what is the ray gun, even people who don't play COD Zombies may very well know what game it's from. It is that popular, but it was never meant to be the best. Because it's a weapon that we see in every map, it is supposed to complement other weapons, and that's exactly what it does. It complements other wonder weapons. It's not supposed to be better than them. If it was overpowered, it wouldn't be in every map. It is just there to allow us to have fun, let us take out multiple zombies at once, give us something that's relatively powerful. Yes, we all know about the splash damage, we all want PhD back, but it's the ray gun, okay? In the later games, BO3, BO4, it became less prominent. It wasn't as useful. As wonder weapons got better, the ray gun became less relevant, I guess, which is kind of sad, but it's still our good, reliable ray gun. So, moving on to number 4, regrettably, because as of late, I've kind of started to enjoy using this wonder weapon, and it is the Winter's Howl. Now, this may be because in BO4, in my opinion, it's very good. The new version in Classified is 100% better than the original that we saw in 5 or Verrucht. Back in the old days, this would just be one of those forgettable wonder weapons that no one would be really too excited to get, which you should be. It is a wonder weapon. And so it's hard to rate this since in BO4, it's good, whereas in World at War, Black Ops, it isn't good. And so if we combine good and bad together, I guess we can say it's okay. It's not OP. If you don't know how it works, it pretty much freezes the zombies and it will kill a group in front of you, or it will freeze them and then eventually they'll die, or you run into them and they break. One thing it won't do is freeze the Pentagon Thief, so you've got to remember that. Make sure he doesn't take it. But yeah, it's got a magazine size of 6, which you might not think is very much, but it's not too bad. When you pack a punch it becomes 9. It is a semi-automatic. Its maximum fire rate is 181, depending on how fast you can fire it. It's got a decent reload speed of 3.8 seconds and high mobility. It's pretty much like a handgun, so you know what? I enjoy this weapon. I didn't used to, but BO4 has opened my eyes. I don't know about you guys, let me know your thoughts about this one in the comment section below. Remember though, it is still at number 4, and this is going from the best to worst. In number 3, we have the Tundra Gun. I have no idea what Treyarch were thinking when they put this wonder weapon in the game. I don't know how to explain it. It's the Thunder Gun, but it's horrendous. How can you make one of the best wonder weapons in the game this bad? I don't really know how to explain it. When I first heard that this was in the game, I thought a variant of the Thunder Gun, this is going to be amazing. It's not. You know what, I'm even convinced this thing's broken. Unlike the Thunder Gun, where if you got trapped in a corner, you could shoot it straight ahead in front of you and it would blast away the whole group of zombies. The original Thunder Gun was pretty much your lifesaver. This one, instead of taking out a whole group, it kind of takes out the zombies right ahead of you. You almost have to aim it where you want it to go, whereas with the original Thunder Gun, you just shoot it in that general direction and the zombies are all dead. I don't know, it just feels like this wonder weapon doesn't work. It's awful. Not quite as bad as number 2 or 1. It's still usable, although I wouldn't use it. If you just pack a punch an assault rifle or an SMG, you're guaranteed that they're going to be better than this. It was just a massive letdown. And then getting into the final 2, for number 2, I have picked the VR11, the other wonder weapon from Call of the Dead. I do struggle to call this a wonder weapon simply because it doesn't work like one. It is very odd. I do sometimes wonder if Treyarch themselves, when making this, even considered this to be a wonder weapon, but everyone calls it one, so it is what it is. Pretty much you shoot a zombie with it, and it will then turn the zombie into a human, and that human will then run around, and the zombies will be distracted by it. That's pretty much what it is, a distraction. The weapon itself, when firing it, doesn't kill zombies. It works more like the monkey bombs. It distracts the zombies, so you don't use it like a normal wonder weapon. If you were trapped up a corner, you definitely wouldn't want this. Whereas if you were training and needed a break for a second, it is more useful. But if you use this and the scavenger together, and you use both of them tactically, it's better than nothing, I guess. But yeah, at the end of the day, the weapon itself doesn't kill zombies, so it can't be any higher up. And when you do pack a punch it, guess what? It can kill a zombie if you shoot 3 beams at it. It's pretty much ineffective, and it's difficult to class this one as a wonder weapon. I feel bad, but it deserves its spot. And coming in at number 1, okay, 5 seconds if you can tell me what you know this is going to be. Go to the comments. Have you found it? Probably not. Go to the comment section. Type it in right now. Don't cheat. I know what you guys are like. Have you done it? Yep. Okay. Number 1 is the jet gun, otherwise known as the Thrusterdyne Aeronautics Model 23, otherwise known as the worst wonder weapon ever in zombies. Yep, you're right. It's another buildable, but this one breaks. Normally with wonder weapons, they don't break on you. You build it and you've got it forever. Nope. This one, you let it overheat. Yeah. Yeah. When you do build it and you're very careful with it, it doesn't kill the zombies very effectively. Or should I say, you have to be effective when using it. It's not powerful. It pains me to talk about this. I have no idea what Treyarch were thinking when putting this in the game. This is one of the reasons why Transit was always considered a bad map. The wonder weapon didn't help. This thing is that bad it doesn't even feel like a wonder weapon. It's just pieces of scrap lying around. It is a jet engine. Yeah, I mean, you can fly with it. Is that so? Oh, okay. Shall we just leave it there? This thing's disgusting. Makes me sick. So guys, there we go. Those are my top 10 worst wonder weapons in COD Zombies. Like I said, that doesn't necessarily mean all of these are bad. Some of them are very good. It's just out of the 20 to 30 that we have now. I'm not sure on the exact number, but there are 20 others that are better than these 10. So there we go. Drop a like rating if you have enjoyed. Make sure you are subscribed to stay up to date with the latest content on the channel. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Until then, goodbye.